Okay, guys, we are back with another episode of your favorite podcast, if I may say so myself. Your favorite podcast, If My Skin Could Talk. I am Karena, like you should know by now.
As they should.
Right.
The one and only.
Oh, I am here today with one of my longtime friends that I met when I used to work at About Face. She just has this lovely, kind energy and her face. I always say her face remind me of a beautiful heart. Like she's very nice and kind and very intelligent and talented. So do not play with her. Her name is Nya Walker. Welcome, Nia.
Thank you.
How you
Thank you for
doing?
having me. I'm so good.
Are you excited? Are you a little bit stressed? Or
I'm a little nervous. This is my first time, being on a podcast.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This year I said I'm just gonna say yes to things.
Okay. So
Okay.
you're here
Put myself
yes.
out of my comfort zone more.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm excited to talk to you.
No, but thank you very much for coming. I was telling Denisha earlier, like we met at About Face in 2022, right?
Yeah, it was
yes.
2022.
Yes, like you were like very nice to me. Like, I mean, how many? We were like the only two. No, we
It
had
was
three.
just us, right? And then there was maybe
the,
a couple.
the makeup artist. I forgot
Yeah,
his name.
and
How is he doing, by the way?
I don't know. I haven't seen them in a long time, but I try to keep up with people like on social media and stuff. But everyone has kind of gone on to do different things. But and then we had like another intern, I think, or office assistant.
I don't think I met her. I think I left.
Yeah,
by the time.
but it was kind of just us.
Yeah.
So I remember like the first day you joined the team, and I saw you. I don't know if I met you in person first.
I think I sent a video on Slacks.
Oh yeah,
to introduce myself to
opened
people.
It and I was like, oh my god, this girl is stunning. Like,
oh, thank
she
you.
looks like a model. Like just the way you spoke, you're just so like elegant and graceful. And I was like, oh my gosh. When I see her, I need to like get to know her.
No,
yeah,
I definitely really appreciate you reaching out, because I was very shy, and I mean maybe some people don't think that way, but I am very shy, especially not being used to hanging out with American people, like so that really touched my heart. So I want to say, like, I saw that on social media. I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to, but your family was affected, or some of your family were affected by the fire?
Just some family friends.
Okay.
Some people that, because I've always grown up in like Northeast LA.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of Eagle Rock, Glassell Park, Highland Park. So I've just always known people who live in Pasadena and Altadena.
Yeah.
So, we did have family friends, unfortunately, who lost their homes. And it was just such a crazy start to the year, girl. Like,
I'm
so
sorry.
stressful.
Are they doing great right now? Is everything, I mean, kind of back to normal in a
they're,
way?
They're working on it. People want to rebuild, and it's just a whole process. But I think they're safe, and they're just kind of rebuilding. Yeah.
So did you grow up in Altadena?
So I grew up in Eagle Rock, Glassell Park, I guess, if you want to call it that. So I don't know. I feel like people don't really talk about Northeast LA very much. There's not a lot of Black people over there.
Oh, really? Is Altadena a community?
Altadena and Pasadena have a good amount of Black families and Black people,
but
for
not
sure.
Eagle Rock.
But not Eagle Rock. So, my mom kind of just chose that area, to buy a house because she could afford a house there, and the schools were really good. And then, when she tried to kind of get my brother and I to have be around more Black people, we would go to Pasadena for everything. Like, I've always gone to Pasadena to get my hair done, or like a lot of our family friends lived over there. So yeah, that was kind of my ability to be around more of my people.
Yes. So do you think that kind of helped you in a way shape the way you saw yourself growing up with going on vacation or holiday to Altadena rather than staying in Eagle Rock?
Yeah, I would say that for me, like going to school in a community and just kind of living on a street where I didn't see a lot of other Black people, it was definitely challenging. Like, I did encounter like a lot of, racism or certain microaggressions when I was growing up. And, it definitely was always refreshing being able to go and be in community with people who looked like me. And so my mom she tried her best and did a really good job of trying to make sure we were exposed to that. But I think growing up in a community, because I would say Glassell Park, Eagle Rock is mostly white and Latino. So that's kind of what I grew up going to school around and being around. So, it did impact me a bit of how I view myself and dealing with, racism, dealing with some colorism and stuff.
And how did you think that affected your confidence? Like, or did your mom kind of saw that and she was like, I want to help you out to become confident, or you were just confident in a sense?
I think I definitely struggled with feeling or seeing myself as beautiful and desirable, because I'm hearing from my peers like, oh, Black girls aren't beautiful, or I don't date Black girls, I don't date dark-skinned girls, or, people say backhanded things too, which I'm sure you've gotten, like, oh, well, you're pretty for a Black girl, or you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. So I definitely had a lot of those experiences, like in middle school and high school mostly. My mom's a very confident person, but we just grew up like in such different environments. Like, she was born and raised in South Central LA in the Black community. Like, she was born during like the civil rights era, like in the early 60s. So it's like she saw herself everywhere she looked, you know what I mean? Like, her community is Black, her friends and her, peers are all Black. Her. So she was, celebrated, and her skin tone was never an issue. And I think there were ways that she just couldn't really guide me, because I'm navigating a completely different time, a different reality. So I had to just learn how to validate and love myself. So that's been my own journey, I think, with confidence for sure.
And I do know that, in a way, me growing up in Africa, we used to watch a lot of African American movies and video clip, and when we saw those beautiful women on TV, like, there still are the standout. I mean, African American are the stand. I mean, I know there's a lot of talk and argument between African and African American, but trust me, we admire you guys. Like, even my mom, like, when I was coming, she's like, you should marry a beautiful Black African American and those things. Like, we love you guys. So, but coming here, I kind of saw that another side of things, because I feel like Black American women are kind of very sexualized in clips and in video, in movies and all of that. So I want to know, like, how did you first start to notice how the world see Black women in a way?
Man, so, I definitely started to pick up on, just the fact that people see Black American women in a very negative light. I think from the time I was young, I noticed it, of just the stereotypes that people will place onto us. I think a lot of people assume, especially if you're darker skin and you're like a fully Black woman, you're not, mixed or like racially ambiguous. They just expect you to carry yourself in a certain kind of way. So when they meet you and you speak and you're articulate, you carry yourself with maybe a classy manner. It's like, it's not usually what they expected from you. I think I noticed from a young age, people think like, oh, you're supposed to be, ratchet, or you're supposed to like, you know what I mean, act a certain way. And it's like, Black women are not a monolith. Like, we all have very diverse experiences, and, it should all be valid. But I think people try to put a label on us a lot of times. And, when you don't fit that label, it's like,
like being a baddie, or,
Yeah, you know what I mean? They have that expectation of you. And when you're not that, it's like,
they feel you act white.
I was just about to say that. It's like, oh, you must be whitewashed then. Or you want to be white. And I'm like, where are you getting that from?
This is very sad.
It is really sad. And it's like, you guys say on one hand, like, oh, you know, why are all Black women, you know, sexualizing themselves and hypersexual? And then you encounter Black women who carry themselves differently and you make it a negative thing.
Yes.
So I'm like, it's like we can never win.
Do we just have to be in one box, or like what's up?
Yeah, you know? That's what I'm saying. And it's like, just let us be whatever we want to be.
Absolutely. And how were you able to find your identity and truly stay authentic to yourself? Because I saw in one of your video you were saying like you prefer to be a pretty patootie. Is that how you were saying?
Oh, a cutie patootie.
Yeah, a cutie patootie. Like, and I love that. And I was like, this is her, you know? And so between all this noise or where they expect us to be a certain way, how are you able to stay authentic to yourself amongst all of that?
Amongst everything, yeah. I mean, I do think there's a lot of pressure, especially on like the younger generation of Black girls, you know, the girls that they're seeing on social media and a lot of our entertainers. It's like, okay, you have to have a big, like a really big booty. You got to be thick. You got to be, you know what I mean, so sexualized. And I just realized like that, it feels really forced for me to act like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think finding what is authentically sexy to you and what your sensuality is, it's like the journey should be different for every woman, right? And you know, for me, I've always just been like a down to earth, like chill girl. So it's like, why am I gonna be up here like, you know what I mean, putting on a performance? It's like, just be yourself. And I think like most of the good things that have happened in my life, or the people who've come into my life, it's happened when I was just being me. So I just, you know, I always want Black women to feel like you don't have to put on any type of you don't have to act like everybody else. Just be who you are. Own it, be confident, and the right people will like catch the wave, and they'll be like, okay, like I like what you got going on.
No, I totally agree with you. I truly believe that we are enough the way we are. Absolutely. No matter what color of skin you are, but we are truly enough. So I mean, I know it's easy to say than done, but I truly hope that every woman realize, especially Black women, realize that they are enough the way they are, and they are beautiful, and they should just, you know, be themselves.
Yeah, the world needs you just how you are. Literally. You know what I mean? It's like, don't try to be like this specific influencer or this specific, you know, celebrity. It's like they're already themselves, but like, who are you? You know,
that is so true. Yeah. And I remember you mentioned earlier that you kind of come from a neighborhood that was like the suburb, right? It was a suburban neighborhood. Yeah. And so you were not used to, let's say, ratchet behavior and all of that. So you grew up a certain way.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to say
I know, I'm trying to be politically correct. I don't want anybody to feel offended.
You see, even me, I'm trying to find the word.
You know what I'm saying?
But you know, but basically you say that you grew up in a neighborhood that where you didn't have like access, or you were not exposed, let's say, to certain kind of ratchet behavior like hater or those type of things. So do you feel like you had to code switch? Because I guess for you, that I would say that was like natural. So do you feel like everyone has to code switch when we go to certain place, or the way you were raised was just, you know, enough for you and, you know, went along everywhere you went?
You know, so it's funny because it's like, even though I grew up in the suburbs, it's like my mom was born and raised in South Central LA, which is kind of near like USC, that whole community. And then my father was raised in Watts. So it's like most of my extended family like lives in the inner city, or like lives in South Central. So like I've never been uncomfortable being around all types of Black people from like different walks of life. Like, you know, my parents exposed me to that. So, but it was just more so me feeling like showing up as myself and speaking the way that I talk, or dressing how I like to dress. It's like, I feel like people would kind of prejudge me a little bit and be like, oh, okay, she must think she's like, you know, better than us. And it's like, as I've gotten older, I realized like I was never giving that kind of energy. It's just people will sometimes be projecting their own insecurities onto you. So I've gotten to a point now, like, I just don't really care to be understood by everybody, if that makes sense. Like, I'm just going to show up as myself. I'm going to speak the way that I speak. But when I was younger, I did feel like a little more insecurity about it, of like, okay, like, I'm too Black for non-Black people. You know what I mean? I can't fully relate to them because I'm a Black woman. And then when I go around my people sometimes, and not with everybody, but in some cases, it would be like, okay, like, you know, are you trying to be whitewashed? Are you trying to talk white? I'm like, what is talking
Or even when you like certain hobbies. Like, me personally, I do get that a lot. Like, because I like specific hobbies, people say, like, I don't know, you Karen, are you're a little bit. I'm like, just I'm easygoing. Like, if you want to invite me to a cookout to something, like, just let me know, I will come. Like, at least ask me. You don't know, but rather
get to know you.
by just judging me and saying no, like, you really don't know me. So, I mean, it is what it is. But
it is what it is. It's like I realize, like, a lot of people just view the world around them through a lot of stereotypes, right? And it's like, they see you and they think, okay, Black women are this. Or, you know, they're supposed to talk like this. They're supposed to enjoy this type of music or these types of hobbies, like you say. And when you completely shake up their whole perception of what a Black girl can be, it's like people just get uncomfortable. It makes them feel unsettled in their own spirit, I think. So it's like, that's not our problem.
It is not.
It's not my problem. So, hey.
So I want to ask you, do you think we can really be ourselves sometime in the workplace as, you know, Black women?
You know, I think that me being a creative and being a graphic designer, like, I've been pretty fortunate, and I think I'm probably the exception and not the rule, because...
But it's good that people see that there's other way of life and, you know, other realities, not just...
For sure. For sure. I think, you know, I would think my experience as working in a creative environment is probably different than a Black girl who works in finance or works in a very corporate, you know, environment, because it's like, I get to come to work in sweats. Everybody wears like casual clothes. I wear my Crocs to work. So I think there's a little more space for me to be myself more. But of course there is kind of a little bit of that undertone of like, I've noticed that I'm the person who has to initiate, like, getting to know people. I have to let people know, like, okay, I'm not standoffish. Like, I'm friendly. I'm approachable. So I always think there's a little bit of that. Just making sure we don't come off as closed off. Because I definitely have noticed in certain work environments, like, sometimes they just won't make an effort to get to know you that well. And they'll be like, I don't want to say intimidated, but they just sometimes don't know how to approach or start a conversation. So it's like, I definitely have to do sometimes more of the work of being like, oh, like, hey, you know, I'm Nya.
That is so true, because I definitely had that experience one time at one job where, because I was shy and I wasn't talking, I wasn't really outgoing, they thought, you know, I didn't want to be there, you know. So it kind of backfired on me, but I was like, I was just being me. I was just, you know, figuring out everything. Your business, but you know, I guess we have to be like, hey, hi, how you doing? Hey,
which is so sad, because some of us are just more introverted. It's like, if I'm getting the work done, girl, like, why does it matter? You know what I mean? But I have noticed you have to be sometimes...
Play the politics,
It's playing the politics. Exactly. It is playing the politics, for sure.
No, for sure. And you did say that you like to make the effort. And I saw that you did that personally with me, which I really appreciate. Like, you make the effort to connect with other Black women in the office or wherever you are. So why is that important for you, truly?
You know, it's important for me because I've been the only Black person or the only Black girl in a room in so many times. And I know sometimes it can be like a culture shock, or you can just feel like, man, I just want to have that one ally in the room or in the office. Build that sense of community. Have somebody that you feel like, okay, if something happens and I want to vent about it, but I don't really trust going to like other people. Like, I just want especially if they're interns or they're new in their career, like I always want the other Black women around me to see me as an ally to them, as a friend to them. Like, if you just want to go for a walk and get coffee, or you want to vent, like, I'm here for you. That's always been so important to me. So just lending myself in any way I can, like, yeah.
Definitely. And, you know, you do, knowing you personally, you do provide that space, you know, to be comfortable around you. So that's something that I really, really appreciate about you. And did you ever feel like they've like okay, I'm gonna say it that way. You know, when I came in the US, I'm not saying it doesn't happen in other countries or continent, but when I came in America, the USA, I did notice that in many movies and everywhere that, oh, we have to work as twice as hard to get, you know, half of what other people get and all of that. And I like to challenge things in my mind, you know. I like to challenge things because I'm a big believer of like you create your own reality, and you know, if that's what you feel the world has to be like for you, that's what it's gonna be and all that. So I wanna have your opinion on that. Do you feel like it's kind of a good thing and it makes us, you know, being good, strong, excellent, or if kind of like a pressure on us, like having to work twice as hard all the time?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have reflected on like how I was as when I was younger and being like the only Black person in my art class or in school. And it definitely drove me to be like, okay, you guys are assuming I'm just, you know what I mean?
I'm
you guys
the underdog. Like, I want to show you.
Yeah, I want to show you because I realize people do have a lot of assumptions that you're maybe not going to be as intelligent or you're not going to be as talented. So I think a lot of my drive when I was younger was like proving myself, like, yeah, okay, like you see the straight A's, you see it, you see the portfolio, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to stress yourself out or burn yourself out to a point where now it's like, you know, you just stress yourself out so much trying to prove yourself. So I think there has to be a balance too of just doing it for yourself and being motivated to just validate your own self. So that's kind of how I've shifted my mindset now. It's like, well, I work hard because it makes me proud of me. I don't feel like I have to prove anything to other people. But I definitely think that is a pressure that is put on a lot of us. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, people are thinking, especially when I got to design school, when I got to college, I kind of felt like people felt like, okay, she's just got into this school because she's like the diversity, you know what I mean? Or like even with the DEI stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna show you. So there is sometimes that pressure, but I think, you know, keep it to a healthy level and always bring it back to making yourself proud at the end of the day and not focusing so much on other people.
Yeah, because that is so true, because I do feel like sometimes it makes us in a way not feel enough sometimes, because sometimes you just want to be yourself, and we saw this resurgence of, you know, women wanting to become soft. They just want to rest because a lot of women are tired to just, you know, being the doing, in the having to prove yourself and, you know, being strong sometimes. And sometimes you just want to be a woman. You just want to be yourself. You just want to just be.
Exactly. It's like you don't have to put so much pressure. I think a lot of us as Black women, like, we're perfectionists a lot of times, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to show up as our best and be exceptional and all these things. And it's okay to just say, you know what, like, just do your best. Make yourself proud, and that's enough, you know.
And, you know, what do you do on your daily basis, you know, to be confident in yourself, in your skin? Like, what type of thing do you do?
You know, I think a big thing for me that has really made me more confident is sticking to my goals. So if I set a goal for myself, or I say I'm going to do something, following through and being consistent with it. So like at the end of 2022, early 2023, I said I really want to get into working out consistently and like loving my body and just making it the best that I can make it, right? Being the best version of me. And just, I didn't expect how much I'd fall in love with going to the gym and like keeping the routine. And of course, like seeing your body change is like so motivating.
You're so proud of yourself.
I know, I'm like, wow,
girl, you did it.
I really did the things that I said I wanted to do, but I just have found that has shifted the way I view myself just in other aspects of my life, because I'm like, if I put my mind to something, I'm going to achieve it.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do everything.
Exactly. So it's made me more confident because I know I can trust myself. Yeah. And I've followed through with things and seen how it's, you know, worked in my favor. Yeah. So I definitely think like being consistent with your goals, it makes you confident in like other parts of your life too. And just taking care of myself, you know, I think self-care has always been, it's fun for me. Like I enjoy it. I enjoy doing my skincare routine. I enjoy like taking care of my hair, taking care of my body, taking care of my mental.
Your face is immaculate. So I will trust you when you say you take care of your face, your hair, everything.
Look who's talking, but thank you.
No, but, and I want to know, how did you handle working in the graphic design industry? Is that something that you always like? Because is there a lot of people of color in that industry?
Not at all. Not at all. I think there's only like 2 or 3% Black designers or something like that.
2 or 3%?
Yeah. It's
in
like
America?
Really low. Yeah, maybe. I'm assuming it's just in the U.S.
Wow.
But it's a really small number. So the way I kind of found out about graphic design was I went to a visual and performing arts high school in downtown LA when I was in high school. So I was able to learn Photoshop and you know, take photography classes, and I was always into art as a kid. So when they would have colleges come, they would also bring in like design schools and art schools.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I was like, oh, I don't have to go to like a traditional college. I can go to design school, or I can, you know, get paid to make packaging look beautiful or work on logos and stuff. So I want to say I was maybe like a sophomore in high school when I was like, okay, I think I want to go to design school. Like I can see myself doing that. So, you know, my college journey had its ups and downs and stressful moments, but I did stick with it. And now I'm like, I guess in my 5th year of, you know, being in the industry and stuff. So, but yeah, I was just lucky to be exposed to the arts at a young age. And I wish that more black women and more Black people were able to have that exposure at a young age and realize like just how many different career options are out there, because I think a lot of people don't even know about certain fields. Yeah.
And I think it also has to do with also your family or people around you encouraging that, because imagine, I mean, I'm pretty sure, I mean, it's a stereotype, but you know, African parents, you say, okay, I want to become an artist.
Like,
they'll look at you like that.
Like, what do you mean? Don't you mean a doctor, a lawyer,
engineer? Right?
No,
So I think
know,
it also has to do with like how your family foster that kind of creativity and allow you to be and express yourself in that way. So I think your parent, you know, they did a great job, because I saw all your work and it is amazing. I
thank you so much.
Love it. And so I want to ask you, if you could tell something to your younger self about becoming confident, what would you tell her?
You know, I would definitely tell myself to not worry so much about what other people think of you. That has really just changed everything for me, is not worrying about other people, their opinions or their judgments, because as I've gotten older, I realized a lot of people are actually very miserable people.
Yes.
And, you know, a lot of people are unhappy. They're unhappy with their lives. They're unhappy with themselves. And they will try to project their insecurities onto you. And you might not even realize it. You know what I mean? So I've just realized, like, just focus on making yourself happy. Focus on making your life feel good to you. And don't care so much about people are going to judge me, or are they going to think something negative about me?
Yeah.
Just, focus on yourself, making yourself proud. And also, I think I would tell myself, don't dim your light for anybody. Don't downplay yourself. And I'm sure you probably had similar experience of you were so attractive, you're intelligent.
With men a lot.
Yeah, and sometimes people will feel a bit intimidated. So you'll feel like, okay, let me not, show, you don't want to feel like a show off. Yes. You don't ever want to feel like people are thinking you're too cocky, but it's okay to be proud of yourself. It's okay to feel good about yourself. And because I worked hard to get here, you know what I mean? So I think when I was younger, sometimes I would feel like, okay, I don't want people thinking I'm stuck up. I don't want people thinking that I'm not humble. But you can be humble and down to earth and still feel good about yourself.
Definitely, because when you kind of mute yourself, you kind of end up not even being yourself. Like, you want to make everyone around you comfortable but yourself. So it doesn't even make sense in a way. So I totally agree with you. Yeah. And before we go, we talk about, this is a podcast called If My Skin Could Talk, and we talk about every aspect of the skin. But I want to ask you, what is your skincare and body care and everything? Because please, guys, have you seen this face? Have you seen it?
Thank you so much.
Please give us the tea. I want to know everything. Yeah.
Okay. So
if there's something we want to hide, that's okay.
Huh? No gatekeeping. No gatekeeping ever.
I'm okay with gatekeeping.
Absolutely not. People who know me, I will give all the tea. So for my skincare routine, I do a really hydrating cleanser because I have more normal skin. It could be kind of dry in the winter. So I love the Prequel Cleanser.
Okay.
It's so good. It's it comes in a huge bottle and it has a lot of glycerin in it. So it really keeps your skin hydrated. So I use that twice a day. I always use a hydrating spray or hydrating mist.
Okay.
And there's a brand called Geek and Gorgeous.
Ooh,
and it's kind of similar to what's that brand? The Ordinary.
Oh.
It's similar to that, and it's a really good price point. But I use their hydrating mist.
Okay.
But you have to spray it while your face is still damp.
Ooh.
So I wash my face, I let it stay damp, and then I spray the hydrating mist.
And what does it do to the face?
It just helps to lock the water into your skin.
I see, yeah.
So it's if you want your skin to have more of that bounce and the glow, the hydrating steps are so important.
I'm definitely going to use that because living in LA,
it's really dry here.
I used to live in a country where the climate is very, very humid. So coming here, it's woof, my skin is thirsty.
My skin loves the humid climates. Whenever I go out of town and I'm somewhere,
and my scalp loves
my skin is thriving. So I have to really put a lot of hydration into it. Yeah. So put the hydrating toner or hydrating mist on while your skin is damp, and then put a hyaluronic acid or your favorite hydrating serum.
Okay.
And do all those steps while it's still damp. And I'm telling you, the glow and the bounce, it'll give it some weeks and your skin will be glowing. So I do all of that, and then I would say use tretinoin, the retinol, the prescription strength.
I heard so many great things about that, but I don't know. I heard that there's also your skin goes through a certain part where it's not very cute and it can be
the hydrating steps definitely help to avoid it. And then I get the weakest, the lowest strength you can get, it still gives you really good results. So I use the 0.025% tretinoin. I use the gel and I use it every other night. So that
every night,
every other night. So I skip a night to give my skin a chance to kind of just breathe and I just moisturize really good. So
and what about body care? Because right now we have a lot of body care brand coming out and being innovative and also thinking about the skin of the body because it also matters. So are you into that or you just stick to the
I don't feel
bathing
like I do anything
agitation?
too crazy. I try to make sure I exfoliate. Like I love like an exfoliating glove, you
Okay.
know. Don't
Me
do it too
too.
much, but
Yeah.
like a few nights a week I'll like really exfoliate with the gloves.
Okay.
And then I also just try to moisturize my body really good. Like I love anything like with cocoa butter or shea butter.
Which brand do you use? I mean, if you don't mind sharing.
I just use like any random body wash. I don't really use anything fancy. I like Naturium body washes are really good. Like their glycolic one is good if you want to kind of even out your dark marks and stuff.
For sure.
And then they have good body wash. What else do I use on the body?
Like a moisturizer or anything like that?
Oh, for lotion, I use Amlactin a lot.
It's
not even like fancy or bougie.
No, I heard a lot of great things about that, to be honest. I heard a lot
really
of great things.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't tried yet. So if
really
that works for you, you know.
It gets rid of like a lot of the dead skin. It makes you really soft. So I use that. And then if I want to smell good, I put on the EOS Vanilla Cashmere lotion.
Girl, I'm not gonna lie. You
so
like
good.
it?
You know, it's cool. It gets the job done.
I went to the store and I smelled it. I was like, maybe because I like strong scents.
Okay, it was too soft, you feel like?
Yes, I was like, I'm not telling anything. Put it back.
Well, you smell amazing, so you need to give me some tips about like what fragrances and things.
I pretty much mix everything. I think this morning they have like this green black opium, like very citrusy. It's not like the normal black opium.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's limited edition, but it's green. And I also use oh my gosh, Hypnotic Poison. Oh, is that Hypnotic Poison?
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
Yeah, Hypnotic Poison of Dior. And it's like an old perfume because my mom used to use it.
Really?
Yes. So
wow.
It's old, and that's what I put in. I like to slaughter myself with like everything that has cocoa butter.
Yes.
Because my country produce like almost 70% of the world cocoa bean. Yeah. So,
Ivory Coast.
Yes, Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire.
You have to tell me what brands have the most authentic, you know.
I buy that from my country, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I use that, and I like to mix it with any type of like body milk, like Aveeno and everything, because I like to mix it with something that has like water base, a moisturizer that has water, and that's what I mix and I use. So my skin is kind of very, I would not say oily, but can retain the fragrance.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So it like locks it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm taking notes. You look good.
Thank you. So that's what I use. So I think the last question I have for you is, you know, of course, the name of the podcast. So if your skin could talk, what do you think your skin will say?
I think my skin would say that she's proud of me. You know, your skin has been with you, or, you know, my skin has been with me literally since I came into the world and has seen, you know, the things I've been through, or like bullying, or just people trying to make me not feel good in my own skin. So, you know, I'm just proud of my resilience. And I think my skin would tell me like, okay, thank you for loving on us. And thank you for, you know, not letting people get to you, not letting people, just having a thick skin, really, and being resilient. So I think my skin would tell me I'm doing a good job.
Oh, we love that for you. We love that for you. And, you know, ladies and gentlemen, this was the last question. I really want to say thank you so much to Nya again, you know, for coming today and talking about herself and how she find a confidence and navigate her life. And I think that those conversations are very important to remind people of, you know, who they are, what they can do, and, you know, that they are enough. They are enough in their skin, with their mind, with everything that entails. So thank you so much, baby girl.
Thanks for inviting me. This was so fun.
Thank you. So guys, thank you again for joining us today, and join us twice a week, actually, every second week, because I wanted to do it every week, but I feel like for right now, it is better for me to do every second week of the month. So join us every second week of the month on Tuesday at 11 a.m. on YouTube with French subtitle, because my people from Ivory Coast and French-speaking country, I got you. Yes. And on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And yes, thank you so much. Have an amazing day, night, wherever you are. Mwah. Bye-bye.
Bye.